I just went on my 50th cruise, which is mind-boggling to me. So let's rank the 5 major cruise lines I've traveled with. Hey, I'm Abby, your cruise expert who's been on over 50 cruises by the age of 23. Today, we're diving into what makes or breaks a cruise experience. I'll be ranking these cruise lines in 5 categories: food and dining, entertainment and activities, service, as well as the cabin/suite, and then the spa experiences. Now remember, these are just my opinion based off of the many cruises I've been on. It's just for fun. Let's kick things off with food, arguably one of the most important parts of a cruise. Let's start with Royal Caribbean. So known for its Windjammer buffet and diverse specialty dining, it's solid, but not always the most consistent. I find that the specialty dining is almost always there, but it sucks because you have to pay for that. As well, after COVID, Royal had a lot of known budget cuts and made a controversial change in the main dining room. I have found that the quality has unfortunately not really been the same since. However, some of my favorite restaurants, such as Izumi and 150 Central Park, are on several of their ships. I also grew up on Royal Caribbean, so I just have a lot of affinity towards it. I also think that some of the ship classes have better dining than others, so that affects consistency as well. Let's go to Celebrity. So fine dining, elevated experience, even in their main dining rooms. It's like eating at a 5-star restaurant all the time. I love Murano, Eden, La Voyage. The food is mostly consistent for me with Celebrity. I also really enjoy their buffet, and I find it to be really good quality too compared to other cruise lines. You also have a lot of options to choose from, and the Edge class ships have even more to offer too. So definitely high ranking in this category. MSC, sometimes it's hit or miss depending on the ship. It's a C. Even with the Yacht Club, which is the suite experience, I find that their suite restaurant is actually not the best either compared to the other cruise lines. The menu's a bit limited compared to other lines too, and there are fewer options, so it can be a little bit harder for pickier eaters. Let's go to Princess. So classic cruise fare. Might not wow adventurous eaters, but I do think they have really good quality and it's definitely above the standard. And I think they have a good variety of specialty restaurants too, as well as menu options. And I really like their Premier package and the perks, and you can take advantage of that. Whereas with Royal Caribbean, they really like to make their money with specialty dining. But I definitely will put it elevated and probably comparable to Celebrity. Let's talk about Virgin Voyages. So they have all-inclusive dining, there's no paid specialty, and they have a lot of creative options, and they're very innovative, but I don't think their food is that good. I know it's controversial, and I actually had a video called Why I Think Virgin Voyages is Overrated. I go into that a little bit more in depth, but I went on Virgin Voyages twice. Both times I had cold food multiple times throughout the sailing, and I also got very ill after eating on my last trip when I was eating in the galley, which is their version of the buffet. So while I love their innovation and their inclusive dining, I just don't think the quality is there, at least not compared to these other cruise lines. Let's talk about entertainment next, and I think this one is interesting because this is how a lot of cruise lines try and differentiate themselves. The clear winner for me is Royal Caribbean, hands down. They have Broadway-style shows, ice skating performances, and aqua theater shows, which has like diving and all that. They truly are unmatched with the variety, and they have incredible talent that just takes it up a notch. And their marketing really focuses on families too, and they're really looking to entertain, and I think they're absolutely leading in this regard. I also love the comedians they bring on, especially with Oasis class. And they also have some of the most cutting edge activities too. They have water slides, surf simulators, skydiving simulator, zip lines, rock climbing, so many activities. You cannot get bored on this cruise line. The only downside is that shows can be repetitive on certain ships, so after a couple nights it might get all the same. Let's go to Celebrity then next. So I'd say it's more sophisticated entertainment, like ensembles, theater shows. It's not as high energy. I do like the headliner acts that they have, but it's definitely a bit more refined, so to speak. And definitely less on the activities too, per se, but they host a lot of similar trivias and fun games that Royal Caribbean has. Plus, of course, karaoke. Pretty much every cruise line has that. Lots of competitive activities too, such as like bean toss and mini golf. With MSC, I think they have eye-catching shows, but I think it's hard to compare to Royal Caribbean, honestly. And they can get a little bit repetitive as well. I do like their Robotron ride, and they have F1 on select ships and a pretty cool arcade. They also have a huge kids area themed well and plenty of slides. They have lots of VR, modern stuff, so definitely great for keeping the kids happy. They also have a pass that includes a bunch of activities, at least on the Seascape that I went on not too long ago, and that's something you may want to look into if you're really looking for a lot of fun on your trip. Let's go to Princess next. So classic cruise entertainment, you're gonna have, your piano bars, you're gonna have a lot of trivia, modest stage productions, somewhat similar to Royal Caribbean, but definitely not as prominent. I'd say it's probably closest to Celebrity in terms of vibe. They do host game show themed events too, and they have this area out on Sun Princess, Princess Live, which is a nice dedicated area where they just host activities. Let's talk about Virgin Voyages. So they have some edgy, boundary-pushing shows that aren't necessarily for everyone, but they are super innovative and can be a lot of fun. I enjoy the shows, but I also feel like they could put more into their productions because there's a lot of potential here, but the spaces are so small. Probably high on this list though, as it is very energetic and eye-catching and different, but there's not a lot in the actual activities department though. All right, we're gonna go into service next. This can make or break an experience. So this one's a pretty important part of a cruise vacation. Let's start off with Royal Caribbean again. So friendly and accommodating is the only way we can put this. They will absolutely go above and beyond to make sure you're having a good time when it comes to your cruise. However, in the dining experiences, sometimes you realize that the workers really rely on the survey results. And after COVID, it's become even more pushed on the cruisers. So after a meal, they'll often ask you to rate them highly on the survey, which can be a little bit awkward, but I can also see in other areas that they're just inundated and you can tell they have a lot going on and it makes it hard for them, but you can also tell that they are absolutely doing their best. Unless you're staying in a suite, there's another change. You only get once a day cabin service too. So unfortunately, that change kind of drops it down a little bit. Celebrity. So consistently excellent. I think they have a strong focus on guest satisfaction as well. I would say they really strive for that refined experience and the service matches that. I wouldn't say it's as above and beyond as Royal Caribbean though, and they don't really push the survey, but they definitely have a solid aspect. And even if you aren't in a suite, you do still get that twice a day cabin service. MSC, a bit hit or miss, honestly. I kind of put it close to Celebrity, but it's not quite there. I dock points with the dining and the guest relations because it can be a bit difficult to compare to Royal and Virgin that are super high up there. And there can be long lines and things that just take a little bit more time to resolve. The service in the suite experience in Yacht Club is excellent though. Princess, warm and reliable, great for seasoned cruisers too. The people are very friendly and helpful. I didn't feel as though I was bombarded, but I definitely got the help when I needed it. And I think it was a good balance of service in the sense that they aren't overbearing, but they make sure that everything is good. And you also get that twice a day cabin service too. And you can also utilize the app and the technology that they have, which is honestly light years ahead, to optimize your experience. Let's talk about Virgin Voyages next. So on a similar vein, Virgin is right up there with service. I feel like out of all of the lines, I think Virgin actually leads here with service. It feels authentic, and I feel as though I'm talking to another person rather than an employee, and it's like a mutual respect. It's a young, energetic crew, a very fun vibe, and less traditional. Also, tips aren't expected on this cruise line, or I should say, as heavily relied on, which definitely changes the atmosphere. I do like that you can request specific cabin services though, whenever you need it, and you can do it like a la carte style, such as just requesting only water refill or towel changes just through their touchscreen iPad. Okay, let's get a little bit more nuanced and talk about the suite experiences and the cabins themselves. So with Royal Caribbean, the newer ships definitely have nice cabins, but overall, I think Royal is a little bit outdated with some of their cabin designs, and the practicality can be a hit or miss. With Royal, I enjoy their suite amenities and perks. With the newer ships, I think it's even better. Honestly, on Oasis and Quantum class ships, you have a private restaurant, and the service with the suite staff is absolutely top notch. The perks are well done too, and the sun deck areas are usually pretty nice. The only thing I have to say is it can be a little bit confusing. There are many different levels of suite perks and cabins on the Oasis and Quantum class ships that can really confuse people. You have C class, you have Sky class, and you have Star class, but then not all junior suites are actually a part of the suite class on some of the ships. So there's a lot of variance, and not everything is always the same, so it can get really confusing. And some of the junior suites are C class, and then some are Sky class, so you have to be intentional in the room you book. So that's where I dock points. I did have a genie as a personal concierge on Harmony of the Seas, and I really like that experience. It's very one-on-one and exclusive. I don't think any of these other cruise lines really compare in terms of the service though, in this regard, so definitely highly rated here. With Celebrity, the cabins feel nice and spacious, but similar to Royal, it can be a little bit outdated. The penthouse suite that I stayed in was very well designed and thought out though, with a lot of practicality. Some of the older ships though, the shelving and organizing space is a bit limited, but it's perfect for those who want luxury and great service. Again, I stayed in the penthouse suite in the Retreat on Beyond specifically, and I mean, it's stunning. And I think the Retreat sun deck on Edge class is the best though. It's a lot larger, you have a pool, you have whirlpools or hot tubs, you get an exclusive restaurant and a suite lounge. I would say it's very high quality, but it's very relaxed and laid back. They're also going to be retrofitting on some of the older ships too, which is great, so they can have that same experience on other ships. MSC, overall, I think this is where MSC is the leader. Absolutely, it's going to be getting the most points for this. The cabins are very nice in my opinion, and they have decent price ranges. And MSC, their suite experience is just top notch. That's where they get the big points. It's entirely like a ship within a ship, and it's all separated and all in its own community. You're gonna have a bar, all of your gratuities are included, you've got a huge pool and dining. It's genuinely a large and beautiful area, and you feel very luxurious here. The only downside is the food. Even though they have a suite lounge and suite exclusive restaurant, I cannot say that the food is much better than the main dining choices, but honestly, I will only sail on MSC if I'm in Yacht Club. I also like that the Yacht Club is pretty much the same across all of the ships, so you're gonna have that consistent experience, whereas, you know, with Royal, it's gonna change based on the ship you're on. Princess, the cabins are very spacious. I was actually very surprised with my interior cabin. Incredibly large. I also think they really consider outlets with the newer ships and innovative technology. I love the sanctuary. The pool and the sun deck is fantastic on the Sun Princess, and it's huge. They have lots of perks, a beautiful suite lounge, and a private restaurant as well. Definitely a favorite of mine for sure. If they keep going at this level, it can absolutely pass MSC and be the leader in the market. Something I really love about Princess is they work as they go, and when they see feedback, they take it and improve in those areas. So I'm super excited for the Star Princess, because even with the Sun Princess, they made changes even after that first sailing. So if they do that, this can be an amazing experience. With Virgin Voyages, the rooms are a bit smaller. I hear this is a common complaint, but they are very modern and high-tech, and I actually really enjoyed it. With these ships being newer, they really do think about technology and charging outlets, which, if you can't tell by now, that's very important to me. But it's not my favorite suite experience. I was staying in a Rockstar suite. It's definitely got nice cabins and that modern feel, like I said. With the suite perks, I do think their onboarding experience is very nice and well done, but there's no suite restaurant or suite lounge. You do have a suite deck though, but it is a bit smaller compared to other cruise lines. Overall though, it was a good experience, but I probably just wouldn't rate it as highly as the other ones, because it is missing those key aspects that a lot of people like in a suite experience. All right, let's close out with the spa experience. So with Royal Caribbean, some ships have better thermal spas than others, but they have it at basic levels. You have a sauna and you have hot beds, and while that's good, I think other lines just do it better. You can get a day pass for the thermal spa. I also find that Royal Caribbean can be very pushy with add-ons. Celebrity is very similar to Royal Caribbean. If you don't know, they're sister companies. And again, it has the basics in the thermal spa, but that's about it. There's really nothing to write home about, if you know what I mean. But you can buy a day pass for the thermal spa. MSC, all right, we got another leader here for sure. This is where they get their points. Absolutely stunning thermal spa, y'all. It's got a pool, many different rooms, like salt rooms and saunas and showers. They have a wide array of choices with the spa services itself. I did this really cool, like, dry waterbed floating device thingy. I wish I actually knew the name of it, but it was super unique and a lot of fun. You can buy a pass for the thermal spa, and they also have these experiences and packages like the Aurea experience, which you can add onto your room to include thermal spa perks. So definitely a leader in this regard. Princess, the thermal spa is a very nice area, and they have competitive pricing. Actually, I mean, overall, Princess really is competitive with pricing because of their premier package and whatnot, but I think that the staff are super nice. I did think it was a little bit pushy though. You can also get a pass, but instead of day passes, they focus more on like voyage length passes, which kind of knocks it down a point, but it varies on the sailing. With Virgin Voyages, I'm going to put them in the middle for the thermal spa. I think it is fantastic. They have a mud room and all the basics and a cold plunge, which was a lot of fun and a very social event. But they also have a pool and hot beds. But the only downside was that the pool was not very warm, and that was on both of the sailings I went on. But it has such a very luxurious vibe that's very comparable to MSC. The pricing is okay, but instead of a full day, you only get a couple hours, so we're going to knock points there too. So if we're going to be ranking these overall, I think we're going to have Virgin at the bottom, unfortunately. It's bold and innovative. It's definitely ideal for adventure seekers and adults who want more all-inclusive travel with no kids. But for me personally, I just don't love it as much as I hoped I would. MSC, it's stylish and modern, but it just can be a bit inconsistent. However, the Yacht Club is definitely worth the price and the perks and are very competitively priced. I think it's definitely great for families too. Royal Caribbean, we're going to put this right in the middle at third. I think it's best for the thrill seekers and the families who are looking for a lot of fun and excitement. If you want adventure and entertainment, this is absolutely the line for you. Celebrity. We have the best food in my opinion, and overall a very consistent service and experience. I've always had a very good time on celebrity ships. Princess, reliable, overall an amazing experience and very well-rounded. I think it's great for pretty much everyone, and their all-inclusive packages are truly unbeatable. I think that they are making waves, pun intended, and are going to absolutely just rise above with the Sun and Star Princess. The winner in my heart, I think it's just the best overall experience for a vacation, and that's why I have to rank it so highly. Alright, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you love to cruise, make sure to subscribe so you stay up to date on all things cruising, and share this video with someone planning their next cruise vacation. Thank you to all of our Patreon and YouTube members who support the channel. You can join by going to the link in the description or clicking the join button right here on YouTube, and you'll get access to a lot of perks such as early access content, behind the scenes content, as well as some PDF guides to help you with your next cruise, and you also get to be a part of this end screen as well. Thank you all so much again, and I will see you all in the next video. Bon voyage!